Hello, this is Howard the Teaser King coming to you with Week 10 of the NFL. Proud to announce the lock of the year. This is the strongest lock I've had in 2 years, going this Sunday in the pros. Huge game, huge trends. Should be bet very heavily. You should make a lot of money on it. I highly recommend getting the pros. You'll get the lock, or you can buy the locks. I got 3 locks going in college and the 2 locks in the pros. Last week I was 4-1 in my locks. Hit 3 in college, and I had 2 others in college that I just played. I didn't even lock them. Just red hot in the last 2 or 3 weeks. I know the last 2 weeks I've been red hot. This week's college, I got 18 plays that are really strong. I mean, this is unbelievable what I see in college this week. But we're talking the pros. In the pros, it's a short week. It's not a lot of action, a lot of buys. I hate the buys because it takes a lot of the teams out that you might bet, and then how do the teams play after the buy? How do teams play? It's just frustrating because you just like the consistency. I don't like oh wait, I can't play this team or that team because they're out. Anyway, I got a good 6 or 7 plays in the pros. The lock being one of them. I could lock another game, but I'm debating on it. There could be 3 locks in the pros, but 2 for sure are very strong. And I could have more lock of the years. I mean, this is the highest rated lock I've had in a long time, like I said. But I'm so focused in now. When I was 7-1 2 weeks ago, and last week I was 6-2 with a trap. So I had locked San Diego, but I had trapped it with Miami, so it was kind of a wash. So my only loser was I can't remember who it was. It was just one team, and it wasn't even big. And then I had New England over Denver, so that was nice. Anytime you get Tom Brady as a home dog, you just automatically lock it. I hear people took Denver. You know, the problem with Denver, they're a good home team. Win the big games against Brady on the road, forget about it. Peyton Manning chokes. He did in college. He's done it in the pros. He's not that type of quarterback. He can't lead. He can't win the big game. And when he loses, he looks so bad. I mean, he looks terrible. I mean, I don't know. Gotta love Tom Brady. And that's another problem. There's no New England this week. I mean, that's what I hate about the buys. I can't, New England's on a roll, but I can't bet them because they're on a buy. Then when they come back from the buy, you don't know how they're going to be. So it's just rough. Anyway, let's start off with one. Detroit laying 3 to Miami. I like Miami in the 9 here. I like the dog. Miami's a good dog. Detroit, they're covering a little bit more against the spread, but they're still. I mean, look at Atlanta, had them 21-0, and I know they won the game on a blown typical Lions. They get to lay a game after he misses the field goal and they make the field goal. But you're giving up 21 to Atlanta. I mean, come on. I like Miami in the 9 here. They're a good road dog. KC laying 2 to Buffalo. It's a tough one here. I like KC. KC's been good against the number for the last 2 years since Andy Reid's been there. Buffalo's not bad. It's a tough one there. I'd rather have Buffalo be favorite here, and I'd jump on Kansas City, but that's what's tough. This is the difference between weak plays, strong plays, and locks. KC plays Buffalo. The play is the dog. If you get Buffalo, which Buffalo should be a 3-point favorite in the game, then you get Kansas City in 9, and you lock it. But when Kansas City's the favorite, I can't lock Buffalo and 8 at home. Buffalo's an okay home dog. Kansas City's good on the road. They're a very good road favorite, and they're just the better team. So, and they've been covering and covering and covering. So it's very hard to, not do it. But That's why sometimes you get good weeks and bad weeks. It depends on the dog. If you get the right dog, then it makes it a very profitable week. And that's what I do. Is I know who's the good dogs and who's the weak favorites and who's the weak dogs, and that's how we make money here. Next game, New Orleans 4.5, 5 over Frisco. Take New Orleans. Denver beat Frisco. They're still scoring on them. It's what is it, 100-0 Denver over Frisco a couple weeks ago. I don't see what's going to change. Frisco looks like they don't even try. Harbaugh looks like he's not even coaching. Too much Colin Kaepernick. I mean, come on. To lose to the Rams, even if he scores on that, on a goal, on the quarterback sneak, so they win 17-13. You're only scoring 17 points on the Rams with players out, and you get sacked 8 times. Like, you're not running the ball. Where's the jumbo packet? Where's Jim Harbaugh? There's big problems in Frisco. Anyway, New Orleans at home is 95%. I just look at New Orleans. Oh, yeah. Excuse me. Just finished my swimming. New Orleans, I mean, they're so good at home, and Frisco just doesn't show anything. Kaepernick, I don't see him. He's not that good of a quarterback. I don't get it, but I'll take New Orleans and Drew Brees, and the way Frisco's playing on defense, he'll light them up. So take New Orleans, and should be 7 points in this one. Baltimore laying 9.5 Tennessee. Baltimore is by far the best home favorite I've ever seen in the last 10 years. They're over 80%. The last 5 years, they're over 85%. In a teaser, at home, just play Baltimore. Tennessee's terrible. I know Baltimore got killed by Pittsburgh. Again, that's at Pittsburgh against Pittsburgh. They're not at Pittsburgh playing Pittsburgh. This is the point I always try to push across. They're at home, they're playing Tennessee. They're not on the road at Pitt. So everybody looks at that game, oh my God, look how strong Pitt is, oh look how weak Baltimore is. Yeah, against that one team. Now you've got a whole different scenario. They're at home against Tennessee. Baltimore wins, no problem. Green Bay laying 7 to the Bears. I kind of like this game two ways. Green Bay won at Chicago, and Chicago's a home dog, and they got killed and threw interceptions. Remember the last game, Green Bay got killed by New Orleans. As I said, they're a weak road dog. That's why I look at the trends. Oh, excuse me. That's what the trends tell you. The trends tell you personality of the team. And that's the whole point here. Green Bay's a great home favorite, but they're not a good road dog. For whatever reason, when they play a better team on the road, when they went to Seattle, they got beat. They go to New Orleans, they get beat as the dog. They go to Chicago, they're the favorite, they win. So that's the point. In other words, when they play a real tough team, they're not strong enough to compete with them. But when they play a weaker team and they're favored, then they handle them because of Aaron Rodgers. So here you got Green Bay laying 7. You can chop them to 1. Over-under's 53. Go over 47. You can play it either or both. Green Bay's 10-2, the favorite in this series. Green Bay and the favorite are 5-1 the last 6 in Green Bay. The dog is 11-3, 18-4, but as we saw in the first game, the dog didn't win. Chicago 8-2 is the dog, so I still like Green Bay here, laying the 1. I think Bears have too many injuries. Cutler's just too inconsistent. And Aaron Rodgers at home after a big loss. Look out! I love that game. And last game, Philly laying 6 to Carolina on a Monday night. Nick Foles is out. All of a sudden, here's Sanchez. Well, I don't know. Sanchez has to get used to this offense. It's a good offense. Carolina, God knows what's happened to them. They're terrible. I think it's just they don't have any receivers. Cam Newton just wants to run. I mean, you got this is the NFL. You don't run. You throw. You're the quarterback. So I look at this game. If Foles was playing, it would be a much stronger play. I mean, I got to get used to Sanchez. But again, at the Jets, they seem to run a strange offense anyway. So I look at it like Philly should get the win. It's hard to take Carolina. I mean, they're so bad. They keep getting blown out. So we'll take Philly and Sanchez, but not that strong because of Sanchez. I want to take a minute to talk about trapping. I've had a lot of emails and questions about it, people not understanding it, and then I want to talk about money management, which I'm realizing people don't. I play my games at such a master's level of gambling, statistics, economics. I have all those forces in play when I'm playing my games. And people don't understand it, and really you've got to build your bankroll. First of all, I bet small, and then I increase my bet as I go, as I get more confidence, as I learn more about the teams, the more information I get. That's why I'm better the second half of the season, because I'm figuring out, in other words, it's almost like Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick makes a new game plan every week. He doesn't go off of last week's. What I do each year is I just kind of blanket it, and I look at, all right, who was good last year? Doesn't mean they're going to be good this year, but you keep an eye on them. And then what I'm looking for is consistency, like Tom Brady, like Peyton Manning, San Diego, Kansas City, the last few years. That's what I'm looking at. Baltimore is a home favorite. For the last 10 years, they've been a great home favorite. So you basically, I'm looking for the team that's good this year, that who's bad this year. Atlanta, they still stink. Houston's terrible. Washington's terrible. So you start seeing these teams. Now Dallas pulled a surprise. Why do I lose my lock? Alright, I locked Seattle against Dallas. Seattle is like 90% at home in a teaser. Dallas has been very bad the last few years. Alright, they're starting to run DeMarco Murray. They're getting a little better. Their defense isn't the worst in the history of football this year. So you learn from that, but at the point, at the time you're making the bet, all of a sudden Dallas is playing great. All of a sudden Seattle looks terrible. Boom. I mean, Seattle's still one of the elite teams. How are they losing at home to Dallas? But that's the point. That's why you can't bet $1 million on every lock I give, because it's based on as much information as I get. But as I learn, what am I doing? I'm not locking Seattle anymore. I'm actually going against them. I'm taking, New England and Denver played in New England. I took New England as the home dog. I had enough watching Tom Brady that I know what I'm getting. And you got to know what you're getting. Mark Sanchez, you don't know what you're getting at Philly. It's hard to go and just run off and bet it. But the more information you get, the better and the stronger the play. That's what causes the lock. So basically, here comes the trap. Now, I trapped San Diego last week. I locked them. I had them with Duke. Which one? I had them with, I had them with another college team. I think Auburn or somebody. I don't remember who the other lock was. I think I had them with Arizona. And then I locked Oregon with Colorado State. Oregon I loved. I knew Oregon was going to win. That was a joke, because Stanford's not as good with this coach. He's lost Harbaugh's players, were there last year. Now they're all gone. He can't recruit. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's not that good. He's not a Harbaugh. So he's trying to take credit for Harbaugh. Anyway, so here comes Duke with San Diego in a lock. I got Arizona with San Diego in a lock. I had Oregon with San Diego, not even in a lock, but I had them real strong. So I got $2,000 on Duke's, or $1,000 Duke San Diego, $1,000 Oregon San Diego, and so I got $2,000 on the line with San Diego and 8.5. Well, I don't want to take all that risk. There's no reason to it. I've already won the first half. Now this is the only way you can trap. So what do? I play Miami Lane 2 on Sunday for $1,500. And as I was explaining last week, I'm risking $2,000. I don't want to risk $2,000. There's no point in it. I love San Diego. Why did I lock San Diego? Because San Diego was 17-1 as a road dog. 10-0 as a home dog over the last 5-6 years. I don't remember the exact number, but it's something like that. So San Diego's a dog's like, I don't know, something like 27-1. Miami as a home favorite is not very good. They're a bet against home favorite. I looked at the injuries. San Diego's getting their cornerbacks back. Ryan Matthews is out. Who cares? He's terrible. Danny Woodhead, I like, but he's injured. But they've still been playing okay. They've got some injuries, but overall, Rivers and Gates were there, and Oliver's there, and he looks good. And nobody ever expected Miami to win a game 37-0. I mean, they got killed by Buffalo in Buffalo. It didn't appear to be a matchup issue. Tannehill's terrible. Miami's, they're not, Don Shula's not coaching there. So, I mean, basically, it makes sense. Of course, you pick before. But that's what happens. But without risking everything, I paid $1,500 on a trap. So I take Miami -2. Now here's what happens. San Diego wins. I win $2,000. I lose $1,500. I win $500. My risk is a lot less. Miami does what they did, and they blow out, which is totally unexpected. I mean, because we got 6 extra points. We're not laying 2. We've gotten 8.5 or 8. So Miami, so I win $1,500, I lose $2,000. So I lose $500, not $2,000. And Miami won by 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, good numbers. I would have won $2,000 and $1,500. I could have won $3,500. I couldn't lose $3,500. And I already had the first halves in Duke and Oregon. Because I already had those in, then the bet made sense. Because did I really want to risk it? And I also had San Diego with Arizona in another lock. So that hurt too, but I had Arizona. I put them in a few other locks, or a few other games. And that's my whole theory. So I have 6 locks last week. I have 5 locks last week. I actually had 7 locks, but I didn't play 2 of them in locks. And one of them was Texas State over New Mexico State. Just betting against New Mexico State because they're terrible. And so I go 4-1 in my locks. And what did I do though? I had Duke and 2-3 teasers. I had Oregon and 2-3 teasers. I had Colorado State and 2-3 teasers. Arizona and 2-3 teasers, and San Diego and 2-3 teasers. And that's really what you want. I mean, and all of them worked out. Okay, I lost to San Diego, but I hit Oregon in multiple teasers, Duke in multiple teasers, Colorado State, and Arizona in multiple teasers. And that's really what you want to do. I mean, you could play 1 teaser, and the other way is to money manage it up. But I still like the trap. When you've got that half in, you have a huge advantage. You have a 6-7 point trap, depending on it. Hell, last year in the championship game, I was in Vegas Christmas, and I teased Florida State. They were laying 7 at the time. So I teased them with Michigan State. I teased them with New England. I teased them with Denver. All these teams. And so I got Florida State laying 1 for $3,000. And all of a sudden the spread starts moving because they thought Florida State was a joke, but I knew they weren't. And they had killed Clemson and they had killed Duke. But all of a sudden, Clemson kills Ohio State, and they're going, "Huh, wait a minute. Florida State beat Clemson like 50-7, and here Clemson beats Ohio State and puts up 45 points. Wait a minute, they beat Duke 50-3, and wait a minute, Duke played A&M to a 52-50 game." So all of a sudden, people are understanding, wow, wait a minute, these really explosive teams, Florida State's killing them. So what happens is the spread goes up to 11 or 12. Now, had the spread started at 11 or 12, I would never have locked Florida State, and I would have played Auburn in 18. But knowing how explosive and how good the defense and offense of Florida State was, I said, there's no way Florida State's going to lose, so I laid the 1. That was the logic. And Florida State had covered quite every time. They're beating Florida, Miami, Clemson by 30, 40 points. So I think the layoff hurt them. But again, I could have taken Auburn plus the 12 for $2,000, and I would have trapped the game because Florida State wins by 3. So I win all the money on Florida State laying 1, and then I could have won all the money on Oregon in a 12. I could have had Auburn, I believe, in 12. You don't tease it. You just play the second game straight. You don't tease and tease. Once I have Florida State -1, the trap is taking Auburn in 8, in this case 12, You just play it straight. You don't trap it. And then I would have won. I could have had $2 grand on Auburn. I would have won $5 grand, and I could have lost, $500 or something. And you always play less. You play more on the teaser because you've got the 6 points. So if you've got 2,000 on the teaser, you never play 2,000 on the straight. You play 1,500 or 1,200, 17, 1,000, whatever you're comfortable with. That's what you play. You don't play more because you've already got the 6-point advantage. And if you know, like I know all the trends, so I know when do I bet a team and when do I bet against a team. When's a team a good dog, when's a team a good favorite. So I already understand that. And that's the service I offer, is that knowledge. And basically what you're looking at is the trap. You can win both ways, but you got to get good numbers. But once you hit that first end of the teaser and you're finishing, you bet the game straight, because you don't want to tease it, because then you got to win the second game of the other game. So if I teased Auburn with, Denver, then I got to wait for Denver to win in the playoff game. So I don't want to keep doing that. You just trapping is tease one end that's already won, so you have the second game waiting with a straight bet on the other team. And you can't lose them both because one of them has to win, but you can win them both. And I've won them both a lot. Especially if you get a good number like laying 2, you take 8. So you lay 2 and you plus 8. Something like that's a great number. It's hard to do like a minus 14 and you cut it to 8, and then you got 14, or it's a hard number. You got to realize they're scoring 3s, 6s, 7s, 8s, 10s. So those are the key numbers you're trying to get to and do it. Now the next thing I want to talk about is money management. Just some people don't get it. They tend to they're betting too much, and they bet too much too often. I go, my last 2 weeks in college, I think I was 11-2 2 weeks ago, and I think I was something like 17-3 last week. I pick a lot of winners, and you've got to understand that. So you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. Even if I bet a lot, just because I lock it, you don't bet your bankroll on it. If your bankroll is, let's say, $5 grand, just for example, you're playing 100, you're playing 500s here, 600s, 700s, and then you're building your bankroll and you get it higher. But you don't put the whole $5 grand on the lock. The lock loses, but I picked 17 other winners, and you're not winning, or you can't trap because you got all the money out. You've got to be able to understand the long season, and I pick a lot of winners, a very high percentage. So what you've got to understand is you've got to put implements of amounts in there. In other words, it's $300, $400 if you got a $5,000 bankroll. You can't bet $5,000. You can bet $5,000 if you got a $50,000 bankroll. But if you got a $5,000 bankroll or a $10,000 bankroll, you should be betting hundreds, not thousands, and building it and betting all the games, because the percentage with me is huge. That's what I bring to the table. So what am I? 17-3 in college last week, 11-2 in college the week before, 28-5 the last 2 weeks. This week I got 18 games. I could pick 25 games easy. I'm like I don't know. I'm like a kid in a candy store with all the college games this week. The pro games, there's just not as many to choose from, but I like 5 or 6 of them, and I got the lock of the year going. So the idea is you play an earlier game Saturday, and then you play the Saturday night game, and you see how you're doing, and then you come on Sunday, and then so the idea is you win the early Saturday games, you win the 3:30 Saturday games, you win the night Saturday games. Maybe you have a couple of losers in there, but overall you're up. Now you hammer the lock with what you're up. So let's say you start off betting $300 on the early game Saturday and it wins, and you bet $500 on the 3:30 games. I'm in Michigan, so we're talking Eastern time. The 3:30 games, maybe you win one, you lose one, maybe you're up 600-700. You hit the night games. I got 4 or 5 strong night games. So you hit those. So let's say you're up $1 grand. Now, let's say your bankroll is $5 grand. Now you got $6 grand. Now I'd bet this lock of the year at least $2,000. But if you lose it, you still have 4. But this is what you're looking for. Or you can play it for 500-600 in one teaser, another 500-600 another teaser using the lock. Maybe you like your own games, and you put one of the locks with it. Like last week, Oregon. All right, let's say you liked I don't know, whatever, Ohio State. So you play them with Ohio. Then maybe you liked Auburn, so you maybe play Oregon with Auburn. I mean, that's what I do a lot. Is I see there's so many games, so I'm trying to put them into that, and I'm betting. I don't bet the whole wad because of my percentage. I know I'm going to have some losers. You can't not do that, but you try to offset it with enough winners. I know I'm going to have 15 winners and 3 losers. So I know I'm going to have the 3 losers, so I don't want those to kill me. So I try to spread it out enough where I can bet it. It's such a... This is the art of betting teasers. That's why you can't just bet them blindly. And you got to know what you're doing with the bankroll. You got to know what you're doing with the traps to protect yourself. But you can't protect yourself every game. Some games, they're so strong. Like Oregon, I never would have bet Stanford in that. I mean, I could have had Oregon open for $2 grand. I would not have trapped that game. San Diego was different on the road. You could take Miami. Okay, that's kind of where you trap. But never in 1,000 years would I have trapped Oregon last week. There was no way they were not blowing them out. Double revenge, and Stanford's not that good this year, so it just made a lot of sense. But anyway, those are 2 very key and critical things. You got to know your bankroll and bet the units proper to your bankroll. You can't bet $4 grand if you have a $5 grand bankroll on one game. And then again, now how are you going to trap the game? All right, let's say I bet $4 grand on the lock. I bet San Diego with Arizona, or San Diego and Oregon for $4 grand, and I got a $5 grand bankroll, and Oregon wins. Now I got $4,000 I'm risking on San Diego, but I can't trap the game. I don't have any money left. You have to leave yourself the money. So that bet should have been maybe $2,000, Oregon, San Diego, and now you need to trap it because you don't want to risk the 2, so you bet 1,000 or 1,500 on Miami, and then, all right, I'm either going to lose 500, fine, or I win 3,500. But that's what you want to do. So you want to trap that game. So that's what makes it. That's how you trap it. You've got to leave yourself money, and you've got to realize I pick a huge percentage of winners, and it's been frustrating a couple of weeks where I'll pick 6, and I'll go 6-1, and my lock loses. So frustrating with the locks this year. The trends are breaking all over the place. I get 95% trends and is losing. Seattle at home against Dallas was a joke, and then Dallas, Washington. Dallas was they own them and they lose. Washington's the biggest bet against team in the league, and then they go ahead and they lose to Minnesota without a quarter. I mean, go figure that out. But that's what's happening. But then I'll hit every other game. That one week when Dallas lost, so I was 7-0 on Sunday, so I'm 7-1 there. So for the week I was 11-2 in college and 7-1 in the pros. So it was just unlucky with the locks. So you just gotta bear with that. But now the locks are turning. I 4-1 last week, and I said this is the strongest lock I've seen in years this Sunday. And again, Saturday I have, I think, 3 locks. Yeah, I got 3 teams locked. I could lock easily 6, and there's so many strong plays, it's crazy. Anyway, please, it's a lot. It's a whole statistical, mathematical, economic thing going on here. It's all science and art. And the science I got, that's picking the game. The art is how to bet the game and the bankroll and the money management. And you've got to understand it. I've been doing it for 40 years, since I was, I don't know, like 5th grade, 6th grade I'm betting. And I've watched since I was 4 years old. So I've seen it all, and I've got it down to a science. But the art is, what team do I tease with the other team, and how much, and how many times do I tease that team? I mean, I looked at Oregon last week, and I could have bet them in 20 teasers. I mean, it was like there's no way they're losing, so I'm going to put them here, and I'm going to put them there, and I'm going to put them here. And Duke was the Duke game was beautiful because they were playing Pitt. Pitt's a bet against team. They're a terrible home favorite. Duke covers like clockwork every week, and they're the dog. And it was like, really, you're making Duke the dog? Thank you, guys. So I mean, that was an easy lock. I mean, anytime you get a weak favorite against a strong dog, that's what I'm looking for, and I found it with Duke. So I mean, I could have, you could. How many teasers can I play them, and how strong? Maybe I play them in 2 teasers for a lot more money. Well, it depends how you're running, and it depends on your bankroll and everything else. But you try to be consistent. You gotta just every week. Forget last week. Last week I was great, but 3 weeks ago I couldn't pick anything. About a month ago in October, I couldn't pick anything. Now, the last 3 weeks I've been on fire. I'm going to be on fire this week, and I guarantee this one's going to win. I mean, this is a joke this week. The pros, a lot of college is like I've gotten teams betting 3, 4 teasers. It's crazy. I mean, I look at it and I go, I got to put them in another teaser. Oh, I like these 2. I can put them in another teaser, and you just end up teasing them to death because they just stick out. The trends are so good this week. And then the other thing, you start looking at like teams that need the game. They need it for first place. They need it for home field advantage. All that starts coming into play. A little bit more in college with this crazy playoff, but in the pros, they'll like go for home field advantage and make the playoffs and clinch the playoffs. So you get all these little intangibles that come in. Anyway, I highly, highly, highly recommend the lock of the year. Absolutely gold here. I mean, this is huge. This is, wow. You will make money on this one. You're unbelievable. Alright, everybody. Good luck to you. Please go to the site, www.teaserking.com. This is the lock of the year. This is extremely strong. I would buy the whole week because the college, there's so many college I'm playing. I think it's 14, maybe 16 college, and at least 2 lock and at least 5, 6 strong plays that I could lock. So you get all that with the lock of the year, so you can be pounding that lock of the year. You can be betting heavy Saturday, win, and then boom, you pound it on Sunday with the lock of the year. It gives you that much more money to bet on it. I would definitely recommend that. I mean, this is the weekend. This is why I do it, is for this weekend. This weekend is gold. Alright, everybody. It's Howard, Teaser King. Good luck. Have a great weekend. This is serious, huge weekend. Alright, everybody. You're going to make a ton.